Disney has become the leader in making movies that are not only pristine, but also seem to have no mistakes at all. Maybe I need to take some lessons. From singing birds greeting beautiful princesses to adventures that put us on the edge of our seats, you best look at Disney if you want to see what a big budget and a large team of people can accomplish. Well, we'd better be glad that they don't have any plans for world domination. Or do they? Ahem. We are about to take away the smokescreen and mirrors and show you a side of Disney that's about as perfect as their made-for-TV sequels. Are you ready to pull back the curtain and see a different side of Disney? Get ready to see 10 movie mistakes that Disney made without getting caught. As we get ready to put a magnifying glass on some of Disney's mistakes, don't miss this chance to subscribe to our channel. If you don't, it will be one of the biggest mistakes of your life. Okay, maybe we're being a little dramatic, but if you've ever had dreams of being first to comment on a video and actually be the first, subscribing to our channel will up your chances of making that dream a reality. Toy Story. Thanks to Toy Story, we have been exposed to pretty much nothing but computer-animated movies since 1995, much to the annoyance of people who love hand-drawn animation. I'm looking at you, armchair critics. While many regard Toy Story to be groundbreaking, it did have some mistakes. See, Mom, nobody's perfect. Speaking of mommy issues, the critics were tired parents who use baby monitors on a regular basis. Remember that scene in the beginning of the movie where Sarge and the Green Soldiers pull off an elaborate plan to get a baby monitor downstairs to Andy's birthday party so they can report on the new gifts? Well, perhaps Sarge needed a refresher on electronics because the crew took down the speaker, not the transmitter. If that seems confusing, it means Woody and the gang shouldn't have been able to hear what was going on downstairs because they had the microphone. Maybe they were hearing voices from outer space. Or maybe the suffering dismantled toys from Sid's house were sending a distress signal. Who knows? But it took over 20 years for someone to realize the mistake and make it known to the masses like Moses presenting the 10 Commandments. This is also a good example of how much we as a society don't know about electronics since Disney and Pixar managed to make this mistake without getting caught for decades. Aladdin. Disney's Aladdin is considered to be an animated classic and made most women fall madly in love with a hero who doesn't have any nipples. That should already be seen as a mistake because if you don't have nipples, I don't trust you. Despite being a masterpiece in the world of animation, it's not without its mistakes. One mistake happens so fast that you would have to sit down with the movie in slow motion in order to catch it. This mistake happens closer to the end of the movie when Jafar has taken over Agrabah. Princess Jasmine is wearing a bit less clothing that more resembles a woman of the night than her usual blue getup. Jafar, you dirty bird. One of her jewelry pieces in her new outfit is a gold armband. But it seems like the armband has a mind of its own and can't decide which arm to stay on. Left? Right? No, the other left. Maybe right? Too many choices. As you can see, the armband changes arms in the different frames from when Jasmine tries to grab the staff to the part where she's thrown to the ground. How rude. Maybe the genie was also playing a trick off screen. Who knows? How did Disney get away with it without getting caught? Lots of scary stuff. Jafar turns into a terrifying snake while Jasmine is suffocating in an hourglass full of sand. Come to think of it, Disney seems to be primarily responsible for giving us all nightmares when we were kids. Cinderella. Disney's Cinderella came out in 1950, and even though it came out almost 70 years ago, kids still love it. Let's be honest, most adults still love it too. And we're still waiting for our fairy godmother to trot along to give us a beautiful ball gown and take us to the ball. Wait, forget the ball. Can she bibbity-boppity-boo our student loan bills into oblivion? Please, fairy godmother. Wait, where were we? Oh yeah, for a movie where the biggest climax in animated history is Cindy getting her amazing ball gown, it seems that the animators had differing opinions on her wedding dress. As Cinderella is going down the steps, her wedding dress has long sleeves, but when she gets into the carriage after marrying a guy she just met, she has short sleeves. I feel like there's a story behind this because how in the world did this pass the eyes of scrutiny that belonged to Walt Disney? Perhaps Gary wanted short sleeves, but Bob said no. We can picture Gary now with his conniving plan, maniacally laughing as he shortens Cindy's sleeves. I'll show you, Bob. Anyone else wishing they had clothes that magically changed in a split second? I do, with glitter and magic. That's my requirement. Come on, reality. The Little Mermaid. Wait, what? The Little Mermaid is a classic, and it's perfect and you can't criticize Ariel. Well, while the 1989 movie is indeed one of the most beloved films in the Disney world, the amount of mistakes in the movie is quite shocking. The movie distracted us enough with a drag queen-inspired sea witch, hot princes, and singing and dancing sea life for us to not notice some of these staggering mistakes. First, remember when King Triton gets super pissed at Ariel for being a hoarder of human stuff? Then he goes on a rampage of shooting and destroying all of her stuff. Pew, 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 pew. When he gets to the statue of Prince Eric, he shatters it, but somehow Eric's face survives? While most of us were probably angry with Triton when we were younger, if this was one of our friends, we might have done the same thing. Bonus tidbit. You know you're getting old when you start agreeing more with the parents than the kids. I'll give you a moment to let that sink in and cry it out. But that is not the only mistake. When Ariel is visiting Eric while he's on his ship, you'll see that Max the dog comes to lick her face. Ariel then wipes the wrong cheek. Oh, honey. Then during Eric's wedding to Vanessa, who was the sea witch all along, wait, hold up. How did Ursula manage to fit herself inside that disguise? That needs to be patented and sold because my Spanx aren't cutting it. Back to business. When Ariel arrives at the wedding, she is barefoot. But when she gets her voice back, she has shoes. Maybe the shoes were part of the package. Pocahontas. Disney released Pocahontas in 1995, and while it's not the most historically accurate adaptation of the story, it still won everyone's hearts. However, my history teacher was not amused when I wrote about the dancing raccoon and his hummingbird buddy. While the historical inaccuracies were the main criticism of the movie, since Pocahontas was a kid when John Smith and company came to the New World, where Disney thought to create a romantic relationship is a bit pedo-bearish. There are mistakes in the movie that stand out. For one, when Pocahontas and her friend Nakoma go to see John Smith after he's been captured by the Native Americans, they are holding hands. But their shadows don't reflect their physical behavior. Maybe their shadows just don't like each other. Oh, girl. There's also the issue of Mel Gibson's natural accent creeping in throughout the movie, making John Smith sound like he's a confused Brit with an alternative personality of an Aussie.
All right, let's go talk to your father.
Also, Pocahontas seemed to come with her own wind. No, that wasn't a fart joke. In the scene where Pocahontas and Smith first see each other, we remember that iconic moment where her hair is blowing in the wind. But if you look at Smith, there's no wind. And finally, the flag that Radcliffe uses to name the land, Jamestown, wasn't actually used until 1801. History nerds, we feel your pain. Tangled. For as long as Disney has been around, people waited with bated breath to see exactly when the mouse would take on the story of Rapunzel. In 2010, that call was answered with Tangled, because Rapunzel has long hair, and long hair can get tangled, right? But a long-anticipated storyline isn't exempt from its movie mistakes. First, we'll jump to the end, so spoiler alert. At the end of the movie where Flynn got hurt and he reaches up to push Rapunzel's hair behind her ear, you see his wrist doesn't have anything around it. But then in the next shot, you see that there are shackles up around his wrist. Plus, they're tight enough to where they couldn't have slid down. Come on, Disney, that's a rookie mistake right there. Also, the creek that runs in front of Rapunzel's tower is always changing positions throughout the movie. Maybe it has a mind of its own. Also, when we're making a movie that requires a lot of hair, there are bound to be some continuity mistakes. Like in the tunnel where Flynn and Rapunzel are running, you can't see the 70+ feet of hair she has, nor is Rapunzel carrying her hair. So, where did it all go? Frozen. It seems that the world has a love-hate relationship with Frozen. If you're a kid, then you probably want to either be Elsa or marry her because she's so awesome. Most parents start weeping at the first chime of Let It Go like they are suffering from PTSD, while Idina Menzel is happy because her career took off thanks to being the voice of Elsa. It was definitely one of the biggest hits that Disney has made in a long time, and it heralded the return of musical Disney movies, much to our delight. But this hit movie wasn't without its flaws, like most people we meet in our lives. Firstly, when Kristoff is singing and playing guitar in the barn with Sven, the guitar has 4 strings and 3 pegs. How was he able to make that kind of music? Disney magic. The answer is always Disney magic. Also, when Anna and Kristoff are outside, the weather is calm. But inside the trading post, there is clearly a storm happening. Actually, pause. Remember when Anna falls into the stream after her horse runs off, but everything else is frozen? That's the title of the movie. That's the title of the movie. Oh boy. There's no way that little stream wasn't frozen. Especially after Elsa caused the sub-zero temps from her epic meltdown. Hey, that's another water-related pun. All right, I'm losing control here. I'm out of control. Okay, I have a problem. I'm out of control. Then we have the end of the movie where Hans, the villain of the story, is getting ready to end Elsa's life. in a kid's movie. When you first see him, there's nothing in his hand, and then the next moment, a saber appears. Where was he hiding that? Finding Nemo and Finding Dory. Since these two movies are connected, we're going to get two birds with one stone. Or should it be two fish with one coral? First, get ready for some science-y talk. Don't worry, it won't bring back those dark memories of biology class. Remember at the end of Finding Nemo when the tank gang managed to escape their prison of the dentist and his crazy niece Darla? They're all floating in their bags on top of the ocean. Well, this is when all the science-minded people in the audience started to rabble. Why the uproar? Those bags are filled with salt water, and therefore, my dear Watson, they shouldn't float like that above water. Instead, the bags would have floated at a slightly lower level. But of course, that wouldn't have been funny, and comedy is more important than facts. Then we get to Finding Dory. You would think Disney would have learned by now. One of the characters' destiny says that she's a whale. Technically, while she is a whale shark, this species is one of the largest fish in the sea. While someone could just take that as the character being confused, Destiny is in a tank suited for small whales and dolphins. Whoopsie! So all of you kids who fail your marine mammal tests can forward your complaints to Disney. Brave. To set these moments up properly, keep in mind that Brave is set around the 10th or 11th century Scotland. Capiche? Now, let's start picking out the historical mistakes. First, when Merida and her family are eating lunch, they are eating potatoes. But actually, potatoes weren't introduced in Scotland until the 16th century. Unless her father, King Fergus, made them appear magically, this is historically inaccurate. Ruh-roh. After Queen Eleanor turns into a bear and Merida does her breaking tradition speech, you can see Eleanor creeping behind the crowd. But when Merida and her father, plus his clan, are looking in the same direction, no one notices the bear. How is that even possible? This isn't Harry Potter where the bear is a cloak of invisibility, so how is it that Disney can't address the bear in the room? Finally, there also seems to be the case of the disappearing horse. At the end of the movie, Merida takes the magical tapestry off of Angus and puts it around her mother in hopes of breaking the spell. Angus can be seen in the circle of stones, but when the shots go to above, the horse is nowhere in sight. Cars 1 and 2. Disney and Pixar's Cars has turned into quite a profitable franchise for Mickey Mouse. Who knew a movie about talking cars would be so successful? Actually, Thomas the Tank Engine was a big hit, and those trains' mouths don't even move, and that was successful too. Okay, we take that back. Anyway, this 2006 movie became a hit, especially with kids and people who love NASCAR. But this movie ain't perfect, and we're going to point out some of the mistakes like Gordon Ramsay on a good day. When Lightning McQueen is rushing out onto the stage after the first race, you see loads of confetti being shot out of cannons. But somehow, magically, none of that confetti gets on the cars. Wait, what? Anybody who's been around falling confetti knows it gets everywhere, even in unmentionable places. Even when the cars haven't moved, you can see the confetti somehow got under the cars too. What is this madness? Then, of course, as we know with Disney, when something is a great success, a plethora of sequels follow. In Cars 2, Mater gets knighted, and the newspaper says it happened on Tuesday, July 15th, 2011. But no one at Disney bothered to look at a calendar because July 15th, 2011 was on a Friday. Also, can we talk about how the red telephone booths are only big enough for humans? But this is a world full of cars, and there's no way a car could fit inside there. What kind of a universe is this? Even if we shattered your perfect Disney dreams, we hope you enjoyed this video. We got a whole bunch more where that came from, and you can find it on our channel. Here are some videos to give you a teaser. And if you're really into our stuff, as you should be, take a moment to declare your allegiance. Subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching.